The Bills are favored by 17.5 points this week. It's spreads like that that have me looking more at the over-under this week. Let's go. This is Tampa 2 Drew. Last week, 1-2. 1-2. That's bad, right? And when you're talking parlays, like, you can't even be off by one. Like, you got to go 3-0 or you lose your money. So it was a bit disappointing. That Carolina Texans game, I probably should have stayed away from it. I broke one of my rules, which is never bet on the underdog unless you feel like they can win, and I did. Texans are bad. Like, they're bad. Them and the Jets, really, really bad. But this week, you got games like the Bills at home against the Texans favored by 17.5 points. I mean, I get Vegas has got to, like, they've got to go with 17.5 because, honestly, the Texans are that bad. The Bills are clearly the superior team, but 17.5 points is just stupid. There's no way. Like, 17.5, that's like college numbers, okay? Like, I'm not doing that. No way. So I'm staying away from it. This week is just a week that I have to go with over-unders for the most part. There is one game that I see on the boards that I feel like could possibly be a game to look at, and that is the Falcons at home against the Washington football team. Only favored by a half point, which, I mean, in Atlanta at home, I'm going to take that. Like, honestly, I mean, obviously, I'm a Bucs fan. The Falcons are in the South. I'm rooting for Washington to win this game, but come on, a half point in Atlanta. The Redskins haven't showed me enough for me to say that I think they can go into Atlanta and win this game. So that's the only game where I'm actually going to take the spread. I'm taking the Falcons, and I'll give up a half point because I think they're going to win this game outright. The other two games that I'm looking at are both over-unders, and the first one is the Titans at the Jets. The over-under on that game is 45.5, right? Now, that's not a very high number. That's pretty low for the NFL, but the Jets are that bad. I don't think they're going to put up any points, all right? So unless the Titans go out there and absolutely stink it up on defense or go bananas on offense, I think we're going to be under on this one. And I don't like unders, man. Unders make me extremely nervous. But at 45.5 against the Jets, they're just putrid. They're horrible. I'm going with the under on this one. So I'm taking the Falcons at home. I'm taking the under on that Titans-Jets game. And then the other game that I'm looking at, Monday night, the Raiders and the Chargers. I'm halfway inclined to say that I would take the Raiders in this game because the Chargers are favored by 3. But the over-under on that game at 52.5, I actually feel like these two teams are probably going to put up some points. That's a fairly high number at 52.5. Like, that's in that range where, again, Vegas knows what they're doing. It's probably going to be around there. But I'm going to say that it's going to go over. I think that these two teams are going to put up some points. As long as it doesn't start off ridiculously slow, if they can put up something going, early into the first quarter, into the second quarter, and kind of get the ball rolling, I think that they'll go over. So Falcons at home, Titans and the Jets, I'm taking the under on that one. And then on the opposite end of the spectrum, Raiders at Chargers, Monday Night Football, 52.5. I'm going with the over. That's it. That's about all I got for you. Honestly, the rest of these games, I don't even really like these three games, just to be real. All right, like I wouldn't put money out there on either one of these. There's not one game that I'm looking at right now in which I go, yeah, this is a definite. It really isn't. I mean, even some of these games like the Saints and the Giants, You know, like I don't have any faith in New Orleans to cover 7.5 points. Like, I just don't. They should. New York's bad. It's in New Orleans, okay? I think it's in New Orleans. I don't even know where they're playing, so that's my bad for not studying up. But even if it was in the Superdome, like, I don't trust New Orleans to cover 7.5 points. I just don't. The Bengals favored by 7.5 against Jacksonville, like, I don't trust that. The Dolphins and the Colts. I mean, the fact that the Dolphins are even favored in a game is mind-blowing. All right. I know it's in Miami, and you generally give up 3 points to the home team, but what has Miami showed us so far to show that they should be favored over anyone? I mean, they could be playing FAU and, like, they'd probably be the underdogs. Like, so I'm a little bit thrown off here. You've got games like Green Bay at home against the Steelers, favored by 6.5 points. Like, I'm not touching those games. Yes, they should dominate. They should beat the you-know-what out of Pittsburgh, because Pittsburgh has been horrible. But do I trust the Packers to do that? I mean, let's be real. They got whooped up week 1. They barely beat Detroit. And then they go out to San Fran and win there. So, I mean, you know, okay. You got the Rams favored by 6 against the Cardinals. I don't trust that game. I'm staying away from it. Denver at home against Baltimore, favored by 1.5. Like, the Ravens have been suspect, right? 66-yard field goal to beat Detroit. I mean, if you're barely beating Detroit, you see the theme here, okay? You already know I'm a Bucs fan. I'm not touching that Bucs-Patriots game. No way. Bucs are favored by 5.5 on the road. I'm not touching that. I won't touch it. But again, that's because I see my team with rose-colored glasses. I would never bet against Brady, period. But that's going to be a lot of emotions in that game for him, for Belichick, for the Patriots, for the fans there. That's going to be an interesting environment, to say the least. The Eagles at home against the Chiefs. The Chiefs are favored by 6.5. You know, Andy Reid going back to Philly. I don't trust the Chiefs for anything right now. Okay, like, they have not shown me enough. The Vikings at home against Cleveland. Cleveland's favored by 1.5 on the road going into Minnesota. I don't trust that. The Bears favored by 3.5 against Detroit. Detroit has done just enough to lose every single game. I just don't. There's nothing on the boards right now that's like, yep, that's a game I'm going for. So that's why I'm going with the over-unders. I'm taking the over on the Raiders-Chargers game, assuming that somehow they're going to put together some points. And I hope that they do. It'd be a good Monday night game if that happens. But you always run that risk. Monday night games, you know, sometimes it's almost like the Super Bowl where they'll get started off really slow because people are excited. You know, maybe Monday Night Football doesn't have the same effect that it used to, but, you know, it's national TV. People get amped up. Sometimes they get a little nervous. So I'm taking the over on that game, and then the under on the Titans-Jets, just because the Jets are that bad. The Jets are horrible. I mean, honestly, if the Jets played the Texans, I would say the over-under would probably be like 10. I mean, halfway joking, but for real. And then the Falcons at home, and that's only because the Falcons, when they're at home, they're not a horrible team. They generally play fairly well, and I just don't know that I trust Washington at all. Anybody that's named football team, I'm not betting on you for sure. So we'll see. Hopefully I come through, and then maybe I can build some momentum going forward this season, because otherwise, if I continue to do nothing but bust, nobody's going to listen to me when it comes to these games. So That's all I got. Until next time, I'm going to keep grinding. I'm going to keep moving forward. I will always trust the process. And I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.